You've been performing for so long, you forgot who you were before the applause. You don't need a new identity. You need to come home to the one you abandoned. It's time to change the narrative. It's time to recognize who you are. You are not an imposter. You are not a mistake. You are not a placeholder in your own life. If you've ever sat at a desk knowing deep down you don't belong in that space, this episode is for you. This is a wake-up call for every professional who feels the anxiety of driving into a job that drains them, shrinks them, or keeps them stuck. You weren't created to simply survive your workday. You were created to grow, to build, and to walk boldly in your calling. There comes a moment in every person's life when the truth gets too loud to ignore. You're sitting at a desk, staring at a screen, surrounded by walls that feel like they're closing in. You know you don't belong in that space. You know you've outgrown the role, the routine, the expectations, and the version of yourself that settled for them. And yet every morning you still drive up to that same parking lot with a knot in your stomach, rehearsing your courage just to walk through the door. That feeling isn't laziness. It isn't ingratitude. It isn't a lack of discipline. It's misalignment. It's your purpose tapping you on the shoulder saying, you were created for more than this. And the longer you ignore that tap, the louder it becomes. Anxiety isn't always a sign that something is wrong with you. Sometimes it's a sign that something is wrong around you. There's a particular kind of exhaustion that comes from staying in environments you've outgrown. It's not the tiredness that sleep can fix. It's the heaviness that comes from shrinking yourself to fit inside a space that was never designed for your calling. You feel it when you sit in meetings that drain you. You feel it when you complete tasks that don't challenge you. You feel it when you silence ideas that could change everything because the room isn't ready for them. Purpose has a way of making comfort feel uncomfortable. You can have a steady paycheck, a predictable routine, and a job that looks good on paper and still feel like you're suffocating. That's because profit can sustain you, but purpose is what fulfills you. Profit pays the bills, but purpose pays the soul. And when your soul is underpaid, everything else in your life starts to feel out of balance. Some people will tell you to be grateful for what you have. They'll tell you that stability is everything. They'll tell you that wanting more is selfish or unrealistic. But here's the truth. Staying stuck in an environment that drains you doesn't honor your gratitude. It dishonors your potential. You weren't created to simply survive your workday. You were created to contribute, to build, to impact, to grow. There's a version of you that's waiting on the other side of your courage, a version that speaks up, a version that takes risks, a version that stops asking for permission to be who they already are. But you can't meet that version if you keep choosing fear disguised as responsibility. You can't evolve if you keep prioritizing comfort over calling. Purpose requires disruption. It requires discomfort. It requires the willingness to walk away from what's familiar in order to step into what's true. And yes, that's terrifying. Yes, it feels like jumping without a net. Yes, it feels like leaving behind the identity you've built, but staying where you don't belong is its own kind of danger, the danger of becoming a stranger to yourself. You know that feeling you get on Sunday night, that sinking, that dread, that countdown to Monday morning? That's not normal. That's not just adulthood. That's your spirit rejecting an environment that no longer fits your future. And every time you ignore that feeling, you teach yourself to tolerate what was never meant for you. Purpose doesn't compete with profit, but it does demand priority. When you choose purpose, profit becomes a byproduct, not the goal. When you choose purpose, you stop chasing titles and start chasing impact. When you choose purpose, you stop performing and start becoming. And becoming is the most profitable thing you will ever do. You don't have to have the entire plan figured out. You don't need every detail mapped. You don't need everyone's approval. You just need one decision, the decision to stop betraying your purpose for the sake of a paycheck, the decision to stop confusing stability with destiny, the decision to stop calling fear wisdom. There is nothing noble about staying small. There is nothing responsible about staying stuck. There is nothing admirable about abandoning your calling because the world told you to be practical. Practicality has never built anything legendary. Purpose has, and you were created with purpose in mind. Think about the dreams you've buried under deadlines. Think about the ideas you've silenced because you didn't want to rock the boat. Think about the talents you've tucked away because your job doesn't require them. Those dreams, ideas, and talents are not accidents. They are assignments. And assignments don't disappear just because you ignore them. The truth is, you already know what you're supposed to be doing. You've known for a long time. You felt it in your gut, in your restlessness, in your dissatisfaction, in your imagination. You felt it every time you said, there has to be more than this. That wasn't frustration. That was revelation. When you think about the moments in your life when you felt most alive, most present, most connected to yourself, none of them happened in spaces where you were merely tolerated. They happened in spaces where you were seen, spaces where your gifts had room to breathe, spaces where your ideas weren't just welcomed, they were needed. That contrast is why your current environment feels so heavy. Your spirit remembers what alignment feels like, even if your routine has forgotten. There's also a quiet grief that comes with staying somewhere you've outgrown. You grieve the time you're losing. You grieve the creativity you're not using. You grieve the version of yourself you haven't met yet because your energy is being spent on survival instead of expansion. People don't talk about that grief, but it's real. And it's often the first sign that your purpose is trying to pull you forward. Sometimes the hardest part isn't leaving. It's admitting to yourself that you should. Admitting that the job you once prayed for is now the job that's holding you back. Admitting that the stability you worked so hard to build has become the cage you're sitting in. Admitting that the fear of change has been louder than the call of your purpose. But once you tell yourself the truth, everything shifts. Clarity is a powerful motivator. And here's the part most people don't realize. When you choose purpose, you don't lose anything. You reclaim everything. You reclaim your voice. You reclaim your confidence. You reclaim your imagination. You reclaim the parts of yourself that had to go quiet just to make it through the workday. Purpose doesn't take from you. It restores you. It brings you back to yourself. So if your spirit has been whispering, nudging, or outright shouting that you're misaligned, honor that. Don't wait for burnout to make the decision for you. Don't wait for a crisis to force your hand. Don't wait for permission from people who benefit from your silence. You were created for more. And the moment you stop betraying that truth, your life begins to expand in ways profit could never provide. This is your season to stop settling. This is your season to stop shrinking. This is your season to stop pretending you're fulfilled by something that drains you. Purpose is calling, and it's time to answer. Before you go, the Imposter Phenomenon Guide is a free digital workbook designed to help you recognize self-doubt, reclaim your confidence, and own every accomplishment you've earned. No fluff, no toxic positivity, just real tools that work. If you're listening on a podcast platform, the link is in the description. If you're on YouTube, it's pinned in the channel links as well. Go grab it, friend. It's waiting for you. So take a breath, settle in, and let's begin the work of separating who you are from who you've been performing to be, because it's time to stop performing and start belonging. Welcome to the work. Welcome to the becoming. Welcome to unmasking the imposter. Thank you for listening to the Imposter Phenomenon podcast. If today's episode opened something in you, share it with someone who needs this conversation too. Make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. And if you're ready to go deeper, get ready to join our community where we're doing the real work of reclaiming identity, rewriting narratives, and rebuilding belonging from the inside out. Remember, you are not an imposter. You are not a mistake. You are the author, and your story is far from finished.